Welcome in, guys. As always, I'm Noah Castor. To my right, we have Brandon Hudson, and across the table, we have Darren Kinslow. Kind of changed up our little studio here. I hope you guys like it. So, breaking news, Robert KRAFT being charged with soliciting prostitution. So, it doesn't mean he actually did it, just soliciting it. So, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, some quick thoughts.
I don't really have much to say about it. Oh, I'm not trying to...
Yeah,
But I don't even know. I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yep.
Obviously, he's got so much money that it's really not going to affect him.
It's not, yeah.
Other than his reputation, but...
Which kind of sucks for the Patriots another year.
Again, yep.
It is what it is. I think that's really all the breaking news we have. We're going to go right into free agency, and some really big stuff happened with Landon Collins. I know I was really on that because I think the Packers would really be a good spot for him. But what happened with Landon Collins, I'll go ahead and explain it. So it was reported that basically he said goodbye to his teammates, goodbye to the coaching staff, and goodbye to the training staff, and cleared out his locker. But a New York reporter was like, guys, you're over-exaggerating that there's still stuff in his locker. Landon Collins tweets at that reporter from that tweet. He said, nah, man, all the stuff I have in there, I don't need. So I don't know what's going on with him. Bad beef with the Giants. I think the Packers would be a great spot for Landon Collins if he doesn't get tagged. The Colts said they were interested. So I think
maybe even the Chiefs might even be interested in going with the safety.
Yeah.
Maybe take either Eric Berry, either take a pay cut or get out of here because we can't afford you. Either way, they're going to have to pay Eric Berry something because of the fact that he's under contract and everything. But maybe see if he'll go down and maybe even become a coach or maybe a safeties coach or something. I think it'd be pretty smart if he did. He just doesn't need to be paying what he gets paid, and
because what he's making is not
what he
used to be.
Yeah.
It sucks to say, but I think the cancer really did hinder his play and just affected all the other injuries.
And then the ankle and then everything. I think
it's tough.
He'd still probably be a good player if he just didn't have all that happen. But then again, it is what it is, and you gotta take a pay cut if you guys want to go to a Super Bowl. Maybe even, and that's why I say go to be like a safety coach or something because. You're still a good safety. You had your good years and everything. You know what you're doing. Just go coach up another safety, and then you're still going to win a Super Bowl ring. You're still going to be on the coaching staff. So, you're still getting your ring if they get a ring, when they get a ring. And it's just like...
Yeah, Landon Collins, not really going to spend a lot of time on him because he could still get tagged.
Yeah.
So, that's speaking of the next player that also could get tagged but would be a stupid decision, I think, by the organization is Nick Foles.
Yeah.
What is it, $28 million they'd have to pay for another franchise tag?
So they're already, 10 over?
Yeah.
So now you're in the hole. The only reason they tag him is so they are able to trade him. Mm-hmm. That way he doesn't go to free agency. So I think... I'll just jump right in. I think the Jags would be a great fit for him. I think they have what the Eagles would want. Leonard Fournette, or I think it'd be dumb to do this, but I could see it happening. Jalen Ramsey.
They've talked about it.
Yeah, because Philly needs that secondary help. So I could see him going to the Jaguars. I really don't know where else.
I don't see him going anywhere else really, except for maybe the Dolphins.
I heard the Dolphins. I heard the Broncos before the Joe Flacco news came out. I think that would have been a decent spot for him to go. But I think the Jags is a quarterback away from really popping.
Yeah,
I think
there's a lot of teams out there like that. I think even the Dolphins. If the Dolphins find a quarterback just to even get them started, I think they'd be just as good as not as good, but I think they're definitely in the right direction if they go quarterback. But what sucks is that you see all these quarterbacks like Nick Foles and all the other guys that are coming in on free agency, and you see none of them going to the Dolphins. None of them have an interest, fully interest where they're at their number one spot.
Yeah, I don't know what the Dolphins are going to do. They talked about maybe drafting the quarterback. Then I heard news that they're just going to tank this year and maybe try and go after somebody in the next year's draft. I just don't know. That organization's a mess.
Yeah, this is definitely not the year to draft a quarterback.
No, there's one, maybe two quarterbacks that should be drafted in the first round, and other than that, I think it'd be reaching.
Who do you think?
I think Dwayne Haskins is the number one quarterback, and I think Kyler Murray, just pure talent-wise.
What about Drew Lock?
No, he shouldn't be in the first round. But he will be. He'll be in the first round, but I think that'll just be reaching. But, that's why I'm hearing the GMs are where they are, so... All right, I think that's all we have to say on Nick Foles. Jags would be a really good spot. Dolphins,
with Skins? But I think they draft. I think they
draft.
go Drew Lock.
Do you think they go Drew Lock?
Because of my Madden franchise.
There you go, yeah. No, definitely. I think they could do that. I heard Teddy Bridgewater might be a good spot for him.
Teddy Bridgewater might be a good pick for maybe even the Dolphins, honestly, if they were smart.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not someone big, but, man, you might get something out of him.
Yep, grew up in Miami, so never know. Next free agent we're going to talk about is Mr. Earl Thomas. Now, I know a lot of teams might be scared because of all that went down in Seattle, but I think that was just him in Seattle. I think if you sign him, you're getting a really good player. I think he's going to the Cowboys. He's already got his kids enrolled into an Austin, Texas school. I know you would love it for the Texans to get him, but they already got the Honey Badger.
That's what I kind of thought earlier, too.
So I think the Cowboys are a great fit. I've heard the Packers, but he's already tweeted out at Jerry Jones, hey, come get me. So
that was the rumor at the beginning of the year was him going to Dallas. That's where he's from. So, I've got him going to the Cowboys probably. I couldn't see the Chiefs. Didn't they try to get him?
The Chiefs tried to get him, but
they threw in a second round.
Yeah,
they started to try to go after him, and it happened right as I think it was the game before they started working out a deal and everything. They started getting everything going, and as soon as the injury happened, that was as soon as it all died off because they knew that he was injured. They're we're not going to go for him anymore.
And you hope that injury doesn't really hinder him. It was a pretty big injury. He snapped his leg.
Yeah, that sucks.
He's an older receiver, but when he was playing, he was graded by Pro Football Focus the top freaking safety.
When you're with, Cam Chancellor, he's another good one out there.
Yeah, Legion of
Boom.
Legion of Boom, it's gone. It's over. It's done. All right, I think those are the main landing spots for Earl Thomas.
Yep.
Next one, and one of the more interesting ones, Mr. Le'Veon Bell. It's been reported that he gained some weight over the offseason. Apparently, they're talking about maybe he's 260 pounds. He started the season at 225. That's not good. Pulling an Eddie Lacy right now, but I think you're just looking at the place with the most money. So, you got the Jets. The Colts is an option, but I think they stick with Marlon Mack. I think the Jets. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts.
That's what I was thinking, the Jets.
Yeah. Because I feel like they're the type of organization to dish that money out.
And he's got, he can basically choose, too, since he's a free agent.
Yep.
But Antonio Brown.
He's going to have to be traded, but I think the Jets is the number one landing spot for him.
Yep. I agree.
Brandon? Anything else? No?
I think I agree with that one.
Yep.
I'd like to see him go other places, but it's not going to happen. I think the Jets is probably the one that's going to mostly stick out for him.
Yeah, definitely. All right, for our last and final free agent, one that, not really a free agent, but he's going to get traded. One that really I've been looking at a lot is Mr. Antonio Brown. My Packers have come up a lot in conversation. I don't love the idea of giving up a first-round pick for him. Darren, if you have any insight on it, I would love to hear it.
I think Antonio, the only person that was going to trade for him is that somebody that needs a receiver, obviously, and then that has the room to pay him long-term. What did the guy in your Instagram comment say?
Shout out to Mr. Noah Lamson. Said the 49ers would be a really good spot. And he does have a podcast on SoundCloud called Here's the Thing. Mr. Noah Lamson, thank you for,
Yeah, I didn't even think of the 49ers,
I know,
honestly.
and definitely.
And with Jimmy Garoppolo young, and then get him a weapon, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. He talked about maybe a rental year because
Kittle or something like that, the tight end too.
Kittle's a big weapon. Yeah, Marquise Goodwin, the freaking Olympian track star. But it'd be a really good fit.
How long would they be able to actually have?
Yeah, he talked about maybe having a rental year. I just don't know if the 49ers are going to be able to just keep him for a year and then just let him walk.
Yeah.
It would be pretty smart, though, if they picked him up, because even if they had to get rid of him next year, you got to kind of think if they are able to trade him, sign him with a 1-year deal maybe, last into a year, and then trade him, he'll be worth a lot, too.
I just don't know.
But I think he goes to Green Bay. As much as you don't like that. I think that'd be a great spot. And I really think it would help Rodgers a lot. Him with Devontae, that'd be great.
I'm just so worried about
the drama.
The drama with Antonio Brown and Devontae Adams mostly.
Here's my thing. I'm not a Packers fan like Noah. I mean, they're cool. I mean, I don't have a problem with them. But it's like, if he goes to the Packers, I see him maybe becoming more of a target maybe for Aaron Rodgers, maybe throwing the ball to him more. And I like seeing Devontae out there. I like seeing Devontae being the one-man show. As much as I hate to see it, I mean, they need other receivers, but maybe find someone like a tight end. Maybe that way I'm not seeing another big star receiver getting the ball more when you know Devontae Adams is the real star.
Because you already know this is going to happen. If he goes to Green Bay, you already know Devontae Adams is going to have a game where he's like 8 catches and a touchdown. Antonio Brown's going to have like 6 catches and no touchdowns. I just don't want him in the locker room going up to Rodgers being like, hey, what the heck, after a win? I don't want that.
Yeah, because Rodgers himself is
so hard to deal with.
There's already drama there, so I think I told you guys this a couple days ago. I think once he settles down to a team, I think it's going to die down, because before all this, I mean, he was like known as like the hardest working guy, all that stuff. So I think a lot of it has to do with, and I've said this before, Mike Tomlin and even Ben Roethlisberger.
I was going to say that too. He just doesn't.
The way Tomlin coaches the team, and then also Roethlisberger. I mean, he goes on radio shows and calls out his receivers.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big reason why. And then I mean, you see it with Bell. Bell had drama too.
And another thing is they had one of the best rosters with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger,
Juju.
I can't even say his name. I can't even ever do that.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
But Roethlisberger. Then you got Juju. I mean, you got one of the best rosters, and just to see it all fall apart with these two players right here specifically, I mean, it's like it's got to be the coach, because it's got to be, because I mean, they're all just leaving out of nowhere, and it's like all of them are acting out now, and it's like I'm done with it.
I think if Rodgers and Antonio Brown can develop that Rodgers-Jordy Nelson chemistry, then it would be fantastic. I
don't know if they'd be able to.
I just don't know.
I honestly don't know where else he'd go though.
That's true.
Because they already
Packers
came out
are in
and said
perfect spot.
Yeah, the Steelers already came out and said they're not trading to AFC North.
Yep.
And the Patriots.
And the Patriots wonder why.
And I can't see him. I can't see the Steelers dealing them even just in the AFC. I think they want to get them out of the AFC. They don't want to play them. So
I think the Packers are in a perfect position. Last 3 or 4 years of Aaron Rodgers' prime. Need to win now. Get a big name guy. They have the perfect pick at first round, pick 30.
I like how they said that Antonio Brown will not be traded to the AFC because they don't want him in it. But Le'Veon Bell, I mean, you got to admit, he's still going to come back and do something. You know that.
Who knows, dude?
But they didn't say anything about Le'Veon Bell.
He's fat. Who knows? Just eating too many freaking jelly donuts. No, but the thing with the 49ers, I know the kid from Instagram, Noah, said that would be a good fit, but I just don't know if they have the trade capital to trade for him, because they got the first round second pick. Yeah, the Steelers would love that, but the 49ers aren't giving up the second pick in the first round unless they somehow trade down and then have enough time to get Antonio.
All just for 1 year?
All just for 1 year, because you can't afford him. Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, and the big contract you gave to Jared McKinnon. I just don't know. The Packers are in a perfect spot. I'll be really upset and then really happy. That's what'll end up happening. But I think the Packers are a great spot, and I think you guys all agree that the Packers are a really good spot for him.
I don't even know, who else do you think he would go to?
No idea.
49ers,
that's what makes me so mad. There's nobody else.
It's kind of hard when they can't trade at the AFC, I mean, honestly. Because there's people in the AFC that could probably use someone like him.
Yeah, Cleveland, who else? Baltimore even?
Yeah.
But they're both in their same conference, so I mean...
Not trading to them.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard, is that all the people that want him are in the AFC.
What makes it so tricky, picking for Antonio Brown, because he has to be traded, and it all depends on what the Steelers
What about the Bears? The only reason why I can say the Bears is who they've got at a receiver.
Bears don't have the capital. They paid Khalil Mack way too much money. They have to pay Mitchell Trubisky. They got to pay their safety. It's just not going to happen. They just don't have the capital for it. Plus, if they do that, they're going to be screwed in 2 or 3 years. They'll have no future.
Kind of almost with how the Eagles are looking out. Right?
Facts, dude.
Spent way too much
tag
on
Nick
free
Foles.
agents,
It's just dumb. Whatever. All right, I think that wraps it up for us, guys. Yep. Wraps up for the Benchwarmers. We'll see you next time. See you later, guys.
Deuces.